All right. Spice of Life, episode 1 with myself, Tanner Wilshaw, and Luke Spicer.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Yourself?
I'm good. Just finished another hard day of training, or session of training.
Let's be honest, you didn't do fucking anything.
I did, man. It was good. It was nice and hard. Pat's away. I'm training with Jason for...
That's why I'm saying you didn't do
weeks.
anything.
He's bigger than Pat, so when I have to pull him, it's a lot harder. Yeah.
He's bigger than, well, what's Pat, 5'3", 290?
I don't think he's 290, but he's pretty solid.
He's pretty jacked, yeah.
He's jacked. Yeah. It's helping. It's working, man. I'm feeling stronger.
Where is Pat out of?
1-to-1 Fitness.
1-to-1 Fitness. That's the Fit Body.
Yeah. Same idea. Yeah, down Riverside.
Like, my wife goes there for the classes.
Oh, like the boot camps, the Fit Body.
Yeah, like she's there at 5 a.m. in the morning for the boot camp classes. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's more dedicated than you or me.
Well, I got to get her out of bed in the morning, so I usually just pull it out and she runs out the door.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. So no, I'm. That's good. And then, my boxing coach is away for a few days. He's in Poland, so I'll be just doing some training in Las Vegas this weekend when I take off.
So, little backstory on Luke. Luke is a professional kickboxer. He just had a fight at Unified MMA where he fought Cody Cron and won a decision. And I think he is going to venture into professional boxing at this point.
Yeah, November 12th. Hopefully, we're just still working out the details with the fight promotion for that fight. Will be my pro boxing debut with a company out of Calgary up in Cold Lake. So
Dakota, right?
Dakota, yeah. And they're just finalizing, the last details before everything's like official.
Just trying to figure out how many pennies they're going to pay you to get beat up.
Yeah, there we go. Just to get me there. Yeah, and that'll be good. So I've been really working on my boxing with Roman down at the Red Deer Boxing Club for 2 months, I guess, and then obviously you and the boys at Arashido and stuff, training a lot for kickboxing. But this fight's going to be just strictly boxing and get in there and.
Your boxing looked good in the kickboxing fight. You came a long way.
Thanks.
Little backstory on myself and Luke. Yeah. We actually don't know each other that well.
Yeah, that's true.
But we've known maybe 6 months. Is it maybe a year? December?
It was before December last year because I thought we were training a little bit before that last fight, but maybe we weren't.
Well, we had conversed on Facebook a little bit to start, where there was some shit talk.
I liked it because you weren't afraid to put posers in their place, and oftentimes the gyms have to, they're paying bills, they're doing stuff, so they can't put some of these young punks in check. So I like it because you're like me, you're not afraid to say stuff. But sometimes you get a little bit overboard. But
yeah, I get a little crazy, but what are you gonna do? So we actually first met face to face. I think we were trying to help Ryan Mahan get ready for a fight, and we did some sparring.
Yeah.
And then just kind of hit it off after that, and then I helped you get ready for your last fight. Yeah. And in the meantime, I got injured, had ACL surgery, and now I'm sitting here at a fucking table with a knee brace on.
making the debut podcast.
Yeah.
So did you train last night?
I went in and I did a little bit of coaching. Gary obviously was doing his regular shit. I just kind of walked around and told everybody what they were doing not properly.
You're good at telling people what they do.
I'm not good at giving compliments. I'm usually, if you're fucking up, I'll tell you. But no, everybody. There's a lot of new people booting around the gym with that boxing blitz class.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Just for you guys in Red Deer, there is a boxing blitz class at Arashido at 6:15, taught by one of Canada's top strikers, Stephanie Asenza. So if you want to show up, bring your ducats and pay the bitch. But yeah, I did do some coaching last night, so I'll be at Arashido Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What do they have in there? Like were a lot of fighters at that boxing class?
No,
there people and some of the I know a lot of the classes Steph puts on. A lot of the ladies from jiu-jitsu come because they like to do the striking with Steph for those classes.
Well, Steph's dad and brother were there, which I'd never seen them. I think that was their first time at the gym. And then there was maybe 5 or 6 other ladies that I'd never ever seen before, and they were obviously brand new, wearing the Arashido gloves that we saw at the gym. And then there was some of the karate guys were there, and some of the jiu-jitsu guys were there. So it was cool to see a lot more people coming in to do something other than just wrestling or jiu-jitsu or anything like that.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, they do have a good amount of striking and good coaching there at Arashi though. Like,
yeah,
Gary for his coaching and stuff. Like he worked on a lot of stuff with me for that last fight and movement and things, working alongside with Roman and getting.
That was the key, was trying to get you out of your comfort zone for that fight and get you to do something else.
Yeah.
Which worked out. It worked out fantastic. You unfortunately didn't get a knockout or anything like that, but you did.
He's a tough guy, man. Like,
the second and the third round were fairly nasty. Hence his face after the fight.
But I was surprised that fight too. I mean, I talked about that a little bit on the radio and stuff, but his kicking and stuff greatly improved. I wasn't expecting that, right? So I mean,
yeah,
he laid some heavy leg kicks in the beginning, which I checked him, most of them in the first fight, and it didn't really matter. In this fight, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do what he did to me. I'm just gonna stand there and take a few kicks and give him some heavy shots. And then I was like, damn, this guy kicks hard. I'm gonna have to check these. And you can see in the video that I checked him, and then he's like, okay, I'm not kicking him anymore, and he didn't, right? And then he stood and
look at this. Look at the size of his legs. He's built like a brick shit house. He had a little muffin top though, which actually surprised me. He wasn't as in shape as I've normally seen him.
I know, that's what he even said at the weigh-in. He looked at me, he goes, damn, you look like you leaned out for this fight. And I just smiled and said, it looks like you didn't. And you know, I mean, he's a good guy, man. I mean, we talked quite a bit, right, beforehand, and I know some of his buddies and training partners and stuff are like, man, why are you guys being best friends before the fight? You guys got to fight. And at the end of the day, fighting for me and a lot of guys it's a sport. It's not. I don't have to hate the guy that I'm fighting. In fact, I'd prefer to fight somebody that I have respect for, because I can get in there and throw down. And I mean, nobody can say that we didn't attempt to beat the hell out of each other. You can look at his face and my leg and everything at the end of that fight. And
yeah, it was.
Nobody held back. So
it was nasty.
Good. I mean, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see the whole fight card, but I watched a lot of it, and I think I could say that we probably had fight of the night on that.
It was hands down the best fight on the worst card I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that doesn't make.
There was There was literally 107 fights on that fight card. 2 finishes. Tyler Dolby, shout out my buddy Tyler Dolby. He did fantastic with a rear naked choke at a higher weight class than he normally fights in. But the rest of the fights were pure shit.
The only good thing for that fight, I mean, the card itself in the beginning was going to be a lot better, because it was scheduled for June 3rd or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And they had a way different card. It was way more stacked. And then when the fire happened for McMurray, they changed that and they brought it back in, and they did it as a charity event. So actually, Chad Rice, they announced the other day on Facebook, they actually gave $22,000 back to the community from that fight card.
Sick.
Just straight up profit right out of Chad's, the business's pocket, and I think that's real. That's real stand up. That's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate what they did there, because a lot of the fighters that were on the card were local Fort McMurray people, which I get it, and they raised a shit ton of money. So on that aspect, I say good job. On the fight quality aspect, I'm pretty sure there's probably some better fighters booting around Fort McMurray than what were on that card.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, again, with changing the date and everything else, it was kind of short notice. I think we had, it's short notice. I mean, I think they gave us 7 weeks, maybe 6 weeks.
Who was it? It was Prestige, right?
Prestige,
yeah.
FC, yeah.
Fix your fucking audio next time, please.
Oh, that was bad. Yeah. It's weird though. Some people had it, which is weird that some people could actually listen to the sound. They said they had it turned up to about 85.
That's what I had to do. I had to plug the computer into my TV, and I had my TV at 100 volume, and I could just barely make out.
Yeah, and that's too bad. I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, they can only do so much. They must have had something, some wire was unplugged at the connection of the taping, I assume, because, something was.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking fly.
And, so it was good. I mean, and I'm, this is probably the first time that I've actually had a fight where I've then not ballooned up and got fat and took a whole pile of time off.
What's your weight at now? 205? 209? That's not bad.
No, it's perfect. I mean, the fight was at 200. This next fight's supposed to be at 190 or 200. We're still trying to decide what the other guy's going to want to fight at so we can get close. And so I like it. I mean, I'm back at the gym full time. Missed class last night. Had some stuff come up. So
super disappointed in you.
Yeah, me too.
Did you happen to watch the UFC fights this weekend? There was a lot of fights to be watched this weekend. There was Triple G.
Yeah.
He fought.
And my boxing coach got mad because I was supposed to watch that one.
Oh, fuck you, Roman.
No, come on, man. That guy's good, Triple G. I like watching him. I like his style. He moves really well, and he hits hard.
He's got the best chin I think I've probably seen in a really long time, and he's got serious knockout power.
What is he, 300 and... He's got over 300 fights between his amateur career and his pro career.
Jesus,
and
that's
he's
aggressive.
Never been knocked down.
Not even on his butt?
Nope. No. I saw some statistic the other day. That's what, like, it was on Facebook and it was on a video, so it's got to be true. But I mean,
you could probably Google it real quick and find out fast. But
so, and then there was the UFC fights.
Yeah,
which I didn't watch. Sorry, but I did watch a lot of the highlights, and I did look into this wrestling guy, CM Punk, I think his name is.
Yeah.
You watched the fights, though.
I'll be honest, I didn't pay to watch the fights.
Okay.
I would not do that for this card because the card was pure shit.
Yeah, it's bad.
It was a really bad fight card until the main event. But so CM Punk, who's a former WWE superstar, world champion in grab ass wrestling in a ring, decided that he wanted to enter MMA for the first time and take a fight with no experience at the highest level.
Yeah.
So Dana White has a show on YouTube. Now it's going to be on Netflix called Dana White Looking for a Fight. So they went off and they found this kid named Mickey Gall.
Yeah.
What had happened was Mickey Gall is actually a fucking killer and came in with a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and legit striking.
Yeah.
So did you watch the whole fight?
I did. I watched it. I finally found it. I think it was like 2 days after, like maybe Sunday or whatever like that. And yeah, I mean, it was. I read the write up, and it's like CM Punk charges to the middle of the octagon and then throws a punch, and it's like he didn't even throw a punch.
No, it was
to the middle and stood his ground, and Gall double leg, take him down, and just beat the hell out of him for 2 minutes.
He came booting it across the cage, looked like he had injected Viagra into his back. His back was more stiff than a dick on Cialis. And threw the worst punch I've ever seen in my life and got taken down and got fucked up. Did you see his ear?
I did, and his whole face is swollen.
Fucked.
Like, but even watching the clip, like I saw the picture of his face, and the first thing I saw was the interview with Joe Rogan, right? And after the fact, right? Where he's like, you can do anything and all this stuff. The thing for me is, it's like, I mean, there's a lot of guys that fight in all over the place that have put in way more time than that guy, and I get it. It's a business, and he wants to sell tickets, or the UFC wants to sell tickets, and they can capitalize on this market and all of that stuff as a business play. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's never competed as an amateur. He's never had any boxing fights. Like,
nothing.
I could see if you took somebody that was a pro boxer that was like legit, and you put him in there like James Toney years ago. Remember that? But same outcome, right?
It made no difference. He fought a grappler.
Yeah, but at least that guy, at least he's fought before. I mean, wrestling's physical and all that stuff, but it's not fighting, man. I mean, it's acting.
No, it's.
And so these guys, I mean, that train forever, and then he comes in and he makes $500K.
Yeah, fuck you, UFC.
That's ridiculous.
The champion of the heavyweight division, Stipe Miocic, made $600,000. Mm-hmm. So a guy that has 0 fights comes in with a WWE background, trained for 2 years. I'll give him credit. He trained. He put some work in, but he didn't pay any dues.
But who couldn't train? I mean, the guy's a millionaire. He's got all this money, and so he takes 2 years off to train for the fight. Do you know how ready you could be if you had 2 years to train for a fight?
Are you kidding me?
Seriously? Like, we train every day.
Yeah.
Or every other day, and you're always working, you're always doing something, but you got jobs, you got everything else. But literally, like, I'm just gonna train for 2 years, and that's the performance he got after 2 years. Come on, man, that's ridiculous.
It was just a bad game plan. Like, they even were talking about it in the back that if Mickey comes out, you just take him down. Well, why the fuck would you take down a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you have a white belt, 0 stripes? Well, maybe he has 1 stripe. Who fucking knows? It's a terrible game plan. He should have probably kept his back on the cage and tried to punch him. Like, there was no...
Could have done a super move from WWE, maybe.
But as far as the pay goes, he made $500,000 plus pay-per-view points.
I know.
So, in turn, I don't think Stipe gets pay-per-view points. He's relatively kind of new in the UFC. Like, he's been around for a few years, but he hasn't been, like, to this caliber at any point in his career before where he would have a drawing capacity. He might have got it because it was in Cleveland, and that's his hometown, and they showed up for him. But that CM Punk definitely made probably a couple $1 million to get his ass kicked. I would do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to go put on a baseball glove and go jump on the field with the Toronto Blue Jays. It doesn't happen. Like,
it doesn't happen. That's what I think what pisses me off more than anything, right? I mean, you see, and then this whole like thing with these like follow your dreams and do all this stuff, and it gives people a false sense of reality. I mean, you see these guys come to the gym all the time that they've been to one fight card or their older brother fights or something like that, and now they want to be a fighter and they talk like they're a fighter, and it's like you've never fought, you've never been punched in the face hard, you've never been hit before. He didn't know what to do. He got hit, and he's like, he looked like a fish out of water, and that's what he was. And you want to take like, okay, so I'm going to take this pro boxing fight. I've never had a boxing fight before, but I fought 33 times. I've been punched before. I've been kicked before. I've been kneed before.
Well, you've been there.
So to say that I'm going to go do it, well, you don't have any boxing experience. Well, you're right. It's different, but it's not like I've never been in a fight before, and now I'm going to fight a professional that is a jiu-jitsu brown belt. And how many amateur fights did he have? Because he's only had
Mickey.
How many? What's his record?
I think he's 4-0 amateur and 2-0 pro.
Also, not a lot.
So he already had a UFC fight before he fought CM Punk, which it wasn't against a UFC guy. The guy he fought was terrible. He was a fucking journalist or something. Maybe it was Ariel Helwani. I don't know. I have no idea.
But I mean, and now the dumbest stuff that I'm seeing for comments now that I'm seeing are people talking about this guy's like, well, what he needs to do is he needs to go back to the amateurs and he needs to fight. Well,
he can't fight amateur now.
You can't. Like this is different than baseball where you can get cut to the minor leagues where you're still technically a professional. You're just on the scale of the NHL or the NBA or whatever. But you can't go back now and fight, and so you've never had a fight before. Well, who's going to fight him?
I will.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but he's going to be fighting on small. I bet you never see him again.
He's got 2 fights left on his UFC contract. Dana White has already come out and said that his next fight should not be in the UFC. So I'm going to issue an open invitation to come over to Havoc FC, and I'll make you 0-2 and I'll retire you. And we'll leave it at that, and you can go back to playing grab ass with your friends.
What was his weight at? What did he fight at?
170, but apparently his weight cut was really bad. So if he wants, I think he's a tall guy. He's 6'2", so I think 185 might be a better weight class for him. But he needs to learn how to fight first.
Yeah.
The fuck was that? Anyway, and you didn't watch the Stipe Overeem fight?
No, I watched the interview after Overeem was basically like how did he lose? I don't know.
He got knocked out. Yeah, he got knocked out.
Yeah,
bad.
And then he started talking about how he tapped him out with that rear naked choke and
Joe Rogan.
Let's pull that up there. That's what I like about Rogan as an announcer. I mean, you see some of these other fights where on other networks, right, where Rogan's not in there, doing the announcing, and it's like the other guys just aren't as good.
It's not the same.
No.
We're so used to hearing the Joe Rogan, he fucking did something.
Yeah.
So used to it, and when it's not there, it's not the same. No.
People talking to me now on here. What's up, Danny? How are you? I don't know how to type on here at the same time. Danny, what?
So for the people that are going to listen to the podcast at some point, we are on Facebook Live too at the same time. So Luke is talking to his friends and not paying attention.
I'm sorry. Well, gotta give a shout out.
So anyway, with the Stipe fight, so they came out and Overeem dropped him.
Oh, really?
And if you know anything about Alistair Overeem, he's got probably one of the best guillotines in MMA, in the heavyweight division at least. Well, he did when he was Ubereem with the huge biceps. You remember when he was huge? Yeah. So he lost the guillotine, and they stood back up. Now, did you watch the Conor McGregor Nate Diaz 2 fight, where they said that Conor turned and ran? Overeem turned and sprinted.
Yes.
He looked like Usain Bolt running the 100-meter dash in the fucking octagon. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then eventually Stipe took him down and KO'd him on the ground. Like it was bad. Like when he got back up to get on the stool, he fell over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't see any of that. I only saw the interview and then Rogan asking him, and that's why then now he's saying that he doesn't want to interview anybody else if they've been put out because...
I don't think it's a good idea. He had no idea what he's saying. I don't think he did.
I think that's a tough thing with MMA, right? Is that you always have these guys that saying, well, like he tapped or he did this or whatever. It's like, listen, if obviously he doesn't really think that because he didn't let him go at any point. He actually got out. It wasn't that he let him go. But squeeze that thing till the ref stops it. Like make sure you know that the ref stops it. So you put him to sleep. Put him to sleep.
I really don't think that he had a choice.
For what?
To I forget the question. Shit.
Oh, for no, just about that they if you're gonna choke a guy out or you got a guy in a submission, right, and don't let him go.
All right. We had some technical difficulties for a second, but
we're good to go
now.
We're
Back,
again?
yeah.
All right.
So you were...
No, I just said that the thing with MMA, and I mean, you don't see it very often, but sometimes, right, guys are complaining after that, there's the phantom tap and stuff like that. And I think if you're a fighter and you've got it, you never see those guys let that submission go until you know that the ref has seen it and acknowledged it and stopped it. You know what I mean?
There's no... I defend Overeem at the same time. Like you can't ask a guy a question like that and then expect a real answer. Like he was rocked enough that he had to quit, and he couldn't get on the stool.
Yeah, so that's the
so
thing,
let's maybe not talk to that guy after, and maybe we'll interview him 30-40 minutes after the fact. And
stuff though, right? When they always want to interview, both guys, especially on the big fights, right? The big main events, co-main events, right? You want to have those guys talk to and interview. The fans want to hear, what they're saying or whatever, and so then they do it. And I mean, there's lots of times where you see it, but yeah, I mean, people get up and leave. I mean, I can remember that Forrest Griffin fight that time with Anderson Silva where he got knocked out with that jab, and Rogan asked him, and he's like, thanks, gotta go, when he ran out of the octagon, right? And it was
he was gone.
Yeah, he's just like, okay.
He was super embarrassed.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
how do you not get embarrassed when you get knocked out like that? Like nobody wants to.
No, but I mean, it's these things where they do make exceptions, right? So I think that's one of those things where maybe he figured he was okay and then he wasn't, right? So it is what it is. I mean, some of these cards, like I'm enjoying seeing the UFC, but they have such a big roster and they're doing a fight card every week. So yes, it's so mainstream, but it's hard to get excited, for a lot of these cards because they're not stacked cards like they used to be when they had one, every couple weeks or once a month, right? And it would be like a legit card. You'd see a bunch of guys fighting. Yeah, they'd have a longer card because they'd have a ton of undercard fights that you'd never see, right? For these guys building their rosters. Well, now they're putting those undercard fights on a card on Fox and doing it again, and it's, I don't know, man, I just get tired of tuning in and watching them and then seeing stuff like that CM Punk. And
the good ones are usually the pay-per-views. The Fight Pass ones suck. I don't know if you ever watched it. They suck. Sometimes they're good because you get some kids that really want to get some fights in and actually go for it. But I like the UFC on Fox ones because they're free and the main event's usually pretty good. It's not always like a title fight or something like that, but it's a Cody Garbrandt level guy that you're going to see a knockout. He's terrifying.
That guy's fun to watch.
Yeah. So it's always like a Cody Garbrandt or a Paige Van Zandt or somebody along those lines. So the on Fox ones are good, but as for the pay-per-view, it fucking sucked. And I should have watched the Triple G fight instead.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
I don't know how much that pay-per-view was, or even if it was a pay-per-view.
I don't know. I haven't watched a boxing fight card for forever, like long time. You know, like it's.
I try to watch them on TSN sometimes, and I always fall asleep.
Last boxing fight card I actually watched, where I paid for and I watched it, was the Mayweather Pacquiao fight.
Oh, you actually paid for that?
Yeah, I really wanted to see it. And
I did not.
No,
I watched it, but I did not pay for it.
You know, I'm. You know, it's fun to watch some of those different sports, you know, and see them time and time again. Like Glory, there's so many good fight organizations out there to watch now that, you know, I mean,
Glory's fun.
You could be watching fights all day long, every day, and still not see them all if you really wanted. So it just depends on who's fighting and what you want to do, right? I do enjoy watching the Glory fights.
They're on UFC Fight Pass now.
Yeah.
Do you have Fight Pass?
I do.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't ever watch. I don't watch a lot of TV, man, or anything. You know, I don't. I come home, I work, and then play with the kids. I don't spend a lot of time watching TV.
A day late for a podcast.
Yeah. This podcast was supposed to go yesterday, and I had a glitch in my day. So thankfully, my partner here can wait one day to do it. So
I literally have nothing better to do. I can't do anything.
Well, knee surgery, you got to relax.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help you be not so high strung.
Oh no! It's
no,
not gonna make me not talk shit about people. Or...
I didn't say that. I just said not be so high strung.
I'm not high strung. I just feel like you think I'm angry all the time, but I'm not.
Oh, this is just calm, cool, and collective, Tanner.
Oh no, the angry guy can come out at any point. When I turn green,
well, look out.
I'm never really angry. I'm just kind of the same person all the time. But if I do see shit, I will call it.
That's true. One good thing is that. You know, some of the young guys at the gym seem to have changed.
Wolfgang Jansen
changed their attitudes towards things, right? So it's good having you around. I mean, there's you can only talk so much crap. I mean, you know, coming in, I've been fighting for longer than a lot of these kids have actually been alive, and so have you. And so the interesting part about, I mean, I retired, right? So I took almost 9 years off. So the thing with getting back though and training now and doing that stuff, of course, training in, you know, in an MMA gym, but training for striking, you know, a lot of these guys are kind of badasses on the ground. And you know, I mean, tough. I like to roll around and do a few things, but no, I do. I like jiu-jitsu. I have a gi and a white belt. I don't think you know how to
defend a takedown. Let's start there.
I will kick you in the face. That's my takedown defense, or a knee in the head.
So Wolfgang Jansen says, "Don't talk shit about me." For those of you people who don't know,
Wolfgang, he's on here.
Yeah, he's one of Canada's top 145-pound fighters, and fuck you, Hard Knocks, for not putting him in that tournament.
Older than you, Luke.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Luke's like 50.
Man, what the heck? He's watching yours, not mine. Oh man, you're way more popular than mine.
But yeah, Wolfgang is one of the top 145 pounders we have in Canada, and he's going to be taking off to Thailand in November for a year.
Again?
Yeah, he got sponsored by the Phuket Top Team. If I'm wrong, Wolfie, tell me.
Wow, attaboy, Wolfie. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's going to be fucking off here pretty soon. But Hard Knocks Fighting Championships in Calgary has a 145 or 135 pound tournament. But he wasn't invited to be in that tournament. They got Sabad Fada and 3 other guys I've never even fucking heard of in my life. And then we've got Wolfgang, who's beat a lot of guys. He's got the nickname Airwolf from doing a flying triangle or armbar or some bullshit. That was sick.
I remember that. That was a cool triangle.
So Hard Knocks Fighting Championships, get your shit together and give that kid a title shot at some point, at least before he leaves, or put him, if one of those other white idiots gets hurt in that tournament, put him in. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's the thing. These guys, right? I mean, we get in there and you know, they want to. I can't roll around with a lot of those guys. Thankfully, I have like 60 pounds on most of them, so I'm kind of okay, but not really. I mean,
Wolfie's not a fun guy to go with to begin with anyway. He's got good kicks, got good hands, and he's a little bit of a bully with the spinning heel kicks. He's knocked a few people out in the gym with those. So
yeah, he does like those kicks. Is he talking crap about you?
No, he's not talking crap about me.
That's good. He better not be talking crap, because we're bigger than you.
Yeah, but end of the day, Wolfie should get a shot at something bigger than just Hard Knocks. Maybe a Bellator, fuck the UFC, because they're not going to pay him anyway.
Well, the thing with a lot of these younger guys and smaller promotions and things like that they have to understand is that fighting in itself, I mean, you can be the best fighter in the world, but if you don't have a personality and you don't know how to talk and you can't they can't build a persona around you and build you up, then they're not interested in it, right? They'd rather take somebody that's a little less. I'm not saying that Wolfgang's not that guy, right? But a lot of them just think that because they train every day and they show up, they're going to make the UFC. And now CM Punk gives everybody the Cinderella story that this can happen, and you're gonna see a lot more douchebags coming back.
We're gonna see Luke Matt come into the gym with a CM Punk shirt on.
Thankfully, we got Tanner checking the door at the gym, making sure that this stuff doesn't happen anymore. So that's a good thing. That's cool. I didn't know about Wolfgang getting to go to Thailand again. So that's awesome. Way to go, Wolfie. That's huge.
I think a lot of the stuff with the younger MMA guys that are coming up now is they didn't have to go through those really hard sparring days where you're getting shit kicked, where you've gone round after being rocked, and you just come into the gym and you warm up for 5 minutes. But a lot of them are very, I find they're mentally weak, and a lot of the young guys now are easily breakable just through the mental game. So I think that like a sports psychologist is kind of key for the new guys now. Like, I don't get really mentally broke down by too much anymore. I've been beat up so many times by big dudes, and I'm not too afraid to get punched.
No, I mean, when you started, same thing as me, I assume. I mean, you're in there and you learn the basics and you get in there and you start sparring. And I mean, when I started fighting and training, it was my coach Lyle.
The Angry Hobbit.
Oh, come on. He had I mean, karate was his thing, right? He had a karate dojo, and I had tons of students. And to me, I mean, that's just the impression I got. But like, kickboxing classes in themselves wasn't necessarily to generate money or revenue for him. It was like he wanted a stable of fighters. So like, if you didn't want to fight and you couldn't fight, they made sure you either learned how to fight or you stopped coming. I mean, Sunday training sessions were usually over when somebody was bleeding, and I mean, it was kind of nice for me because I was the smallest guy there.
How does that happen?
That I was smaller?
You're bigger than I am.
Yeah, well, but I wasn't at 16. I was a skinny little runt. And, my first fight, I was 167 pounds. I guess that's still kind of big. But it's these guys at the gyms, like a lot of these guys were really big. I mean, even Trevor, he fought at 145, but he had fought 30 some times, right? I mean, he was legit. And so these guys would, basically take turns having an easy round with me, but they'd beat the shit out of me because it was hard. And I just kept coming. I remember when I got my black belt, sitting around with everybody after, and we're talking, and Lyle's like, "Yeah, I remember you coming into the gym." And
what do you get a black belt in? Karate?
Kickboxing.
What the fuck is black belts and kickboxing?
Hey man, it's there.
Since when? Who made that?
You got them everywhere. You got them. Mike Miles has them.
Who?
Mike Miles down in Calgary. They do them for their Muay Thai.
Is this just a Canadian thing? Because I've never heard of belts in kickboxing.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Whatever.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, we're sitting around, and they're like, "Oh, I remember you being this 16-year-old kid and coming in." And they, nobody really thought I'd stick with it. And then I fought and I lost, and they didn't expect to see me back. Right?
How many fights did you lose in a row?
I lost my first 2 fights, decisions.
Yeah.
And then I got a draw, and then I lost 2 more, and then I won 22 in a row. So.
Kids, you gotta take some lumps to get some wins.
But every one of those fights, every one of those losses was a decision loss, right? Against somebody like my first fight, I was 16, and the guy I fought was 36 years old. It was his first fight, but he had been training, I believe, if I remember, 8 years.
Stephanie Asenzo says it's a Western thing to acknowledge accomplishments and time in the sport.
There you go.
Well, fuck you. Isn't getting better just as good?
Yeah. Well,
That's what I think.
See, I never thought like I mean, so the belt system and stuff. I kind of thought the same thing. Like that was sort of why it was there to give people, especially people that don't necessarily want to compete, right? Then they can see that they're advancing. They're not just showing up every day. I mean, I like to look in the mirror and go, wow, I'm getting leaner. I'm getting.
I think
stronger.
it's good for kids.
It is
like
good for
when
kids.
you have the kids jiu-jitsu class or a kids kickboxing class or MMA class. I think that them getting belts is kind of essential because they're not going to necessarily see themselves getting better, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like participation medals.
Yeah,
You know, you don't really need them.
I hate participation medals.
I like belts, like big belts, nice
I want
shiny
gold ones.
Those are the ones I got. I got a pile of them in my garage from my amateur days, you know.
Yeah.
And those were what I saw. My son's always asking me, Dad, what belt are you in jiu-jitsu? So, well, I got a white belt in jiu-jitsu. He's like, yeah, but you're a black belt in kickboxing. I said, yeah, but I said belts don't really matter. And I took him out to the garage and I kind of showed him, these are the belts that matter to Dad. He's like, well, if they matter, Dad, why are they covered in dust hanging in your garage? And I said, well, because it's from a time that I gave up. But now I'm back and
you don't have those
again.
displayed around your house?
Nah.
Oh.
No, it's not my thing.
Like,
I need bigger
an
ones.
office?
Yeah.
You should put them in there or do something.
I got a nice one in my North American title belt. It's got the belt hanging in and a picture frame and everything, and just leaning up against the wall there.
Not proud of the things that you do?
Yeah, I am.
Well, you should probably get those out of the garage.
I should
Let's
spit shine them up.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the young guys from the gym, I can beat them up and make them spit shine my belts for me after. Maybe we should do that.
Guy for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can go to his house right now. It's in Black Vaults.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his name's Luke Mack.
Does he live there? He's probably in school, though.
He doesn't go to school. He's graduated.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought he was like young still.
No job.
No job.
No.
Doesn't train.
Virgin.
Man, that's too bad.
No.
I remember being that age and all I wanted to do was actually train. I used to. Honestly, I was sick of getting my ass kicked so bad, and I mean these guys liked me and they beat me up. So I would run from my parents' house to Heritage Ranch, run the stairs, run down the backside of the river to the gym, train for 2.5 hours, and then I'd run home. And that was 2 or 3 days a week. Then I'd work out at the gym in the school in the morning.
Different time, man.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, everything now is given to kids, and they don't see that hard work needs to go in to get somewhere. Now we do have some young kids that come to the gym that do put in the work. Solomon, when he shows up and doesn't have a broken hand, he puts in the work. We got Austin Ryan, who's the Havoc champion. Jet.
I was gonna say Jet.
Jet is 18 years old now, and I'm fucking terrified of him.
He's big.
He's a big dude. Like he's only about 170 pounds, but his biceps are the size of my face. And I bet you he's got a 6-inch piss hole too.
I don't. Like, that's you're the one that likes that stuff.
He's crazy.
He's good, and he's but the neat thing with him is and Austin too is they're good. They're just genuinely nice guys, Like, and I mean you don't have to be a jerk off to be a good fighter. You know what I mean? You can be a stand up person and get in there and still throw down and be a badass.
Yeah.
I think that more and more gyms, as they eliminate some of the riffraff, you're always going to have it though, and that's the problem. I use the word problem, but when you get into a traditional martial art like karate or like even kickboxing, the way it's taught, right, there's a lot of respect that goes into that, and you train with the same instructor for years and years, and there's something good to be had about that. There's also good things with being able to, MMA's had this diversity because not all gyms could offer the same thing, right? You couldn't do wrestling, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. Now you're seeing these gyms where they're doing it, so you're not getting the bounce around, but that revolving door of guys, it's kind of like, and then with society, it's like, well, you offended me, so now I'm just going to go train somewhere else. And you see that with guys, and then they go to the next gym, and now they're working out at a different gym, running the same line of BS to a new gym, and it takes a while, and then they figure out, hey, this guy's useless too, and he's on to the next gym,
Unfortunately, there's a lot of those kind of McDonald's-esque gyms booting around. Like now we have the UFC gym in Edmonton, which is complete horse shit. And then we have the UFC gym in Calgary. So they just seem to be popping up all over the place. My first impression of Arashi-do when I first moved to Red Deer. I didn't decide to go there because I Googled it and they're all over the place. So I thought it was like a chain karate. And I was like, well, fuck that. So I ended up going to Kensei. What a fucking terrible idea. I met the biggest douchebag I've ever met in my life. And then I actually came down and I talked to Gary. Gary is a fantastic person and one of the best trainers I've ever had.
Yeah.
I come from Victoria, BC, from Zuma Martial Arts under Adam Zuzek. And he is easily top one or two coaches in Canada. Easily. But Gary has filled the gap for me where it's come into where I needed a coach and I needed somebody to teach me things that I didn't know, and I didn't need a coach that I could beat up every day of the week. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And Gary fills that void for me, and he's very good. And like everybody down at Arashi-do has a different game that I do. I'm a put my head down, chuck it and fuck it kind of guy.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of some of that. I've seen that before.
It works well for me.
It does.
With Gary, I've added some footwork in, and then with the knee injury, I've had to come up with other ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been good over there, and then with new training partners and meeting new people, and then not getting into gym wars every fucking day of the week. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, when you're off for a while now from like actual training now, right, with the knee injury.
Yeah, I'll be laid up for I don't know how long. The doctor's telling me 8 months. I'm telling myself 3.
There you go, guys. All you kids that like to get into the gym and talk crap, you're really gonna have to tone it down because he's gonna be extra angry with no stress relief.
Yeah. So I'll be doing a little bit of coaching down at the gym, mostly telling people what they're not doing right.
Yeah, I think that the good coaches they have a way of doing that, right? I mean, in life, right, you want to work at your strengths and you want to build on that, and if you don't focus on negativity so much, you can get better and stronger and blah blah blah. But when you're fighting, if you have a weak part, you need to work on that. And lots of guys, especially in MMA, right, wrestling's weak or their jiu-jitsu's weak or their striking's weak, and they don't want to work on it, right? It's always something, and they don't want to work on that. They just want to keep getting better at the other thing, and then it's like, well, somebody's going to capitalize on that and take advantage of it. For me, I mean, the same thing. I had 2 MMA fights, right?
Yeah.
One, same thing, fought a wrestler, go to touch gloves, takes me down and just
pussy
pounds on me for like 2.5 minutes, elbowed me in the face, crucifix, couldn't get out, and he's hitting me in the refs like I'm gonna stop the fight. I'm like, he hits like a girl. Like, I mean, he was rocking me, but there ain't no way I was gonna tap. I mean,
it's hard to get knocked out on your back unless you're getting hit in the chin and your head's like on
banging.
Yeah.
He couldn't elbow very good. Thankfully, didn't cut my pretty face up. I was able to stay together.
Something happened.
But then I went. I went back to the change room after that. I was bummed out. Ryan Mahan came in there and he's like, so it'll be okay. I'm like, put me in that. And he's like, what? I'm like, put me back in that thing and show me how to get out. I'm never going to get in that ever again.
Yeah.
And so all bell rung and in the change room, and Mahan puts me in the crucifix and starts making me work to get out of it, and I did. And he's like, you almost got out, but then you gave up. Like, it was hard. And so I learned that I had to just keep fighting for that position and doing it. And so the next fight, same thing. I was on my back and I managed to get up, and then I knocked him out with a head kick, but for me, kickboxing's always been my passion, like MMA just feels like work, like that stupid job that you don't want to go to, like you're capable of doing it, but it's just like, and so where kickboxing's like, I have fun there, and I mean, I'm not afraid to work hard. I mean, when I go to the gym and I put in the work and put in the effort and do the weight training and freaking pushing SUVs and moving tires and doing crazy stuff, it's like, I'll work, but it's fun, I guess, for me, right? And I think that's a big part. All these guys want to fight nowadays, these young kids, that's what I'm seeing, is they want to fight because they want to be a celebrity, or they want to fight because they want the girls and all this stuff.
Good luck.
And it's like, give me a break, man. Like, does it come? Sure. But when you put in your time and your effort, you know. And
there's a lot more that goes into being that celebrity person now than just skill.
Yeah.
You got to know how to talk. You got to know how to walk the walk. And last but not least is you got to finish fucking fights. Like, you can't just GSP lay and prey on people all day anymore. You got to knock people the fuck out.
Yeah, people want to see excitement.
Nobody really wants to. I get excited if there's a good transition on the ground into a submission. A lot of people just want to see somebody get knocked out. Mm-hmm. So the stand-up guys that are going to be getting famous now, like the Conor McGregor, the Cody Garbrandt, who, if he's not a superstar in his next 2 fights, I'm going to be seriously disappointed because he's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but you got to work on everything now. I chose MMA because I like small gloves, and if I hit you with a small glove, if I can get you, it's usually over.
You need to go to Australia then.
Why?
You can fight in cage Muay Thai with
I don't
John
know if they'll
Wayne
let
Parr.
me in Australia.
Dude, man, 4-ounce gloves in a cage, straight up Muay Thai.
Oh, who's that? Is that John Wayne Parr?
Yeah, that's a bloodbath.
I've seen it online. It's terrifying.
Yeah, those are some pretty sick fights.
I did think about doing like that Dog Brothers fighting thing with the sticks and the headgear and the shit. Like, have you ever seen that?
Yeah, Gil does that. La Fantasy, like,
yeah, no
down in
thanks.
Cali, man, that's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, you're getting hit with a fucking stick.
Yeah, but they don't. But see, when the real guys do it, see, that's like amateur hour.
I want to see them like
with gloves and a helmet on. That's like amateur hour. Those guys do it like bare hands and nothing. I want to see
like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello bow staff fight, like a good one though.
Yeah,
that's what I would like to see. I don't think it would ever happen.
YouTube that stuff.
I think somebody would get hit in the hand, and then it'd just be brawl for it all.
You've never done that you know Black Dragon martial arts, right? Gil Fantasy.
Yeah, I like Gil.
Gil does that stuff.
I like Gil. Gil's a nice guy.
Go down there and do some training with Gil, and he'll be, hitting you with a stick.
No thanks.
That is not fun. Yeah.
I'll stick to you and Advin and Ryan punching me in the face rather than getting him with a stick.
Gil's the kind of guy, like, I mean, I always said he's a great instructor too, right? And he wants to, but he's the kind of guy that even when he blocks your strike,
it still hurts.
He's hurting you.
Yeah.
Like, like everything just hurts. Like, and it's neat because, you look at him, I mean, he's a solid guy, right? But he's older now, right? And you never know. And that's kind of the thing nowadays, right? Is you see these people and they just, they're causing trouble, but it's like, you don't know that guy that you just lipped off is actually a killer, and now this guy is gonna,
he's very unassuming. Like, when I first met Gil when I fought Dwayne Mombercat, he sent my nuts into my abdomen. Fantastic guy, dick. But no, Gil, he just looked at me like, we're up in the back and I'm hitting pads, getting ready, and I can see him poking his head around the curtain to see what I'm doing. And I was just like, what? And what are you doing, Gil? And then after the fact of the fight, he came up and made sure I was all right. Like, he was a super nice guy, but when I first had met him, he was just very quiet, and I was like, "You gonna stab me?" Or I didn't know what the fuck he was just a very quiet, monotone, stone faced guy.
Well, I mean, and he's a stocky guy, and
Gil,
but he's not. Yeah,
like, I didn't find him that big. His son's a fucking monster.
I was gonna say, his son. I don't know where that came from too, because
what's he 6'5", 250? That's Chris LaFantasy.
Yeah,
he's one of Canada's top heavyweights. I think he's fucking good.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see him fight again. I mean, his last fight, he was.
I'd like to see him versus Tanner Boser.
Yeah,
it'd be a good fight.
I
think Chris would knock him the fuck out though.
Well, it depends, right? I mean, like, it's just what's up?
Oh, I heard something going on.
Yeah, my phone's vibrating. He's got. Same thing. He's got a lot of background, right? And his dad. I mean, I remember the first time he came into Jay McDonald's gym. Do some sparring, and
Pure?
Pure, way up on the north end. And I said to Jay, guys, okay, well, Chris is coming in. He's a big dude. I was like, but man, like, he's fast. And they're all like, oh yeah, whatever, right? Like, kind of, because he comes in and he's this like gigantic guy, so everybody expects him to be slow. And then he's whipping kicks out and kicking people in the head, like, not hard, but just, they're up there fast. And because same thing, training karate for so many years, so his speed is so quick.
I had cornered against him in his heavyweight title fight with Jamie Smith, I had watched his previous fights, and the guys that I seen he was fighting, I was not impressed with.
Yeah.
The one guy was about 5'6" with double D tits. I think his first 2 fights were against the same person, and they were good fights. The guy he was fighting was all right, but the other guy that I did see him fight with the big titties, he looked like he had a mental disability. So Chris looked fantastic in the fight. Obviously, he's very fast. He's got really good hands and he hits hard. But my friend Jamie is he's an ex prospect for the CFL with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's a career athlete, trained at TriStar. Now is in Vancouver training at another gym.
They fought on Havoc.
Yeah,
I remember this fight.
It was a good fight, but I didn't expect Chris to be as good as he was. And it really threw me for a loop, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Because Jamie's a good fighter, but Chris took him apart.
I'd like to see Chris and Grayson go at it again, because I mean, that like they had that fight, and Grayson, I watched that fight a few times. I mean, there's so much controversy, early stoppage, whatever.
It was stopped way too early.
I think it was too.
I think the guy got confused with the amateur fight because there were so many amateur fights on that card up to that point. But when Chris was on the ground, he was fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But
Grayson does hit hard though. So.
Yeah. I think that would be an interesting fight. I'm excited to see Grayson fight in December actually again, right? Because he's fighting for that defending his title or whatever.
He's fighting for the title.
For the title,
for the vacant title.
Right.
Yeah. I thought it was supposed to be Chris and him for the title.
Yeah.
It's hard to get excited for a fight like that, especially with the record that they have. Like, I couldn't see putting Chris into a title fight being 0-1 in his pro and at some point he's going to deserve it because just on skills alone he deserves a title fight. And then Grayson has a couple wins over that bum Devin Neese, and I can't remember who else. Or no, he's got one win over Devin, and the other one was a cut stoppage or something like that. But I think he's a 500 fighter fighting for he's maybe 3-2 or something, like 3-1.
Yeah,
fighting for a heavyweight title. But there's been some hate on it. I don't give a fuck who fights for a title. Like, go ahead. Grayson's a super nice guy.
Again, it doesn't. At the end of the day, I mean, it's cool to say like, "Oh, you've got this belt" or whatever. But I mean, unless you're going to be fighting, for Bellator or in the UFC or what is it there?
World Series of Fighting.
There's one FC. That's what I was thinking of. And you're there and you're fighting, and you got a title. I mean, these small and medium, up and coming shows around town. I mean, they're all like farm team.
Yeah,
training to get up there, right? I mean, to build talent, and all the owners of these small shows, they know it, and they're happy to do it, right? They love the sports, they love getting the fighters out there and getting them, their due or whatever like that, right? Building them up. So there's a spot for it, and so if you can get that in there and you get that title and you do whatever, I mean, who else do you got, right? I mean, there's not a lot of heavyweights. Around, and they bring them in locally because again, it's like,
heavyweight's rough, man. Who are you going to fight? Tim Hague?
Yeah.
He gets knocked out every other week, so that's a fairly easy fight at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's there's not. I mean, there is, right? They're there, but they're spread out so far. But I mean, you got a lot of guys around Western Canada and stuff that can fight for these things. I mean, they call them a Canadian title, but yeah, you're getting Western Canadian. We fought amateur, right? I mean, you had to win your Western Canadian title. And you'd usually fight against somebody that had the Eastern Canadian title for the Canadian title, right? Yeah. And then they'd take the Canadian title and the American title holder, and you'd fight for the North American title, right? So you knew you were fighting somebody that won something that was, legit for your amateur ranking. So that was cool. I mean, as I moved up, as I got bigger and I put on weight, right? You'd move up a weight category. Well, you'd fight for the Canadian title again because it's like you already have the Canadian title, right? So, there's Wolfie. He says, "I see you now, Lukey," on the thing. What's up, Wolfie?
Are you a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan?
Okay, so funny story, or interesting story. First R-rated movie I ever saw was Kickboxer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you see the new one?
No, I haven't.
With GSP and Batista?
No, I haven't, but I did see that scene where GSP dies. Like, I just saw it on a clip. Doesn't he die? Is it
No,
the same movie?
he's
That's
not
a different
dead.
movie.
Different movie, yeah.
Oh.
I think that's gonna be the blood sport or something. I don't.
Oh, because he gets like cut up with a knife and like stabbed in the neck.
Oh, maybe I fell asleep in the movie. I don't know.
I have no idea.
It wasn't great.
I didn't see the new one. No, I want to watch it, but I did. That was the first R-rated movie I saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's cool. I was still playing hockey, but it resonated with me. So when I stopped playing hockey, I was like, I want to fight, and I don't want to do karate.
Yeah.
I want to do that kickboxing. So I went in, look, Lyle's gym was where it was at for Red Deer, because I knew a lot of the black belts that Lyle had in karate, right?
Yeah.
I went to school with them. I was friends with them. So I said, like, I'm going to go there because that's like the legit gym to train at, to fight. And I remember going in there going, well, this isn't like the movie. There's no glass. But getting into it and then seeing it, yeah, I mean it's Western style, it's Western style kickboxing.
It's
right?
different.
It's different, right?
Yeah.
I mean even the full Muay Thai that they do here, same idea, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I think again, I love watching Muay Thai, like full elbows, knees, stuff like that.
You watch Lion Fight? You ever watch that? It's pretty good.
Vegas. Yeah,
it's fun.
The thing is like I think that though the fans that love watching Muay Thai and going to the local shows and seeing them, they love watching that stuff. But on a bigger scale, I mean, you watch the TV fights, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the music playing like they do in Thailand and stuff like that.
No.
Like a lot of the fans don't want to hear that, and I'm saying that because I've heard that from fans. Like, why did they play that music?
Yeah.
And it's a tradition, and it's because it's a traditional martial art, so they have that there. But when you want to appeal to the mass of people that enjoy watching fighting, most of them are beer drinking, affliction t-shirt wearing douchebags.
Yeah.
So how do you appeal to them? Well, you put two people, two women, two men in there, and you fight, and you watch them, fight, and they fight. So I think that Glory Rules or K1 Rules, where it forces the action, is kind of cool too, right? Like you don't see the clinching, you don't see the.
I like the clenching a little. Like let them go for 10 seconds at least. Like don't, if they automatically wrap arms around each other and like in boxing, maybe split them up. But if you're in like a single collar tie and you're kneeing, let them work.
Cool, yeah.
But I think that's what they should do. I like that they don't have elbows.
Yeah.
In Glory, because it saves the cuts a lot, and that stops a lot of fights, and it causes breaks.
The neat thing with Glory too is it's like old Pride, right? Like if you don't fight, they penalize you. Like,
they give you a card.
You need to fight, and they're like 1 point, they take it off. It's like a fight, So that's cool because then the excitement's there, right? You're seeing guys go at it, right? I mean, the Glory still does the tournament style, right?
Yeah.
Like 3 fights in one night. I mean, that's some craziness.
Yeah. So back to the Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
So I watched a video of him last night on Facebook.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No,
it's funny. So he gets it's a Jean-Claude a JCVD demonstration.
Okay.
Because he claims that he has better kicks than MMA fighters.
Yeah.
Maybe he does.
Yeah.
So he tells the guy to kick at his head. The guy kicked him in the head.
Who's the guy?
Some dude from the crowd that knew how to kick. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't knock him out, or he just knocked his hat to the side and kind of embarrassed Van Damme. So Van Damme.
Well, Van Damme was just standing there though, or what?
I think he was trying to do a move. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. But so Van Damme comes back and throws a leg kick and then kicks him in the nuts.
like by accident.
No. He's like, I go to the leg and then I go here. Oh, bop. And kicks him in the nuts.
Oh.
Yeah, it was funny.
I was like, that's like me and Cody. I kicked Cody in the nuts again in this fight.
Did he not kick you in the nuts in the first fight?
I don't know if he kicked me.
Or did you kick him in the nuts?
I kicked him in the nuts in the first fight.
Oh, okay. So you're 2 for 2 then.
Yeah, but I kicked him twice in the first fight and once in the second fight. Yeah, I kind of felt bad. And then I said it after jokingly because I was like, Lyle always said, if you're ever losing, don't discredit a good kick to the balls to slow the pace down. He was always joking, but
let's be honest. If you kick a guy in the nuts, if you look at the win to loss ratio of those guys that get kicked in the nuts, they usually lose because they're hurt. Like everybody comes back, they don't take their 5 minutes. They all come back way too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the fuck's his name? Ryan Jimmo, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
He got kicked in the nuts so fucking hard one time.
Yeah, that was a UFC fight, right?
Was puking in a bucket. and then he still fought, which I'll give him credit. I probably would have walked home.
Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to watch that Van Damme video.
Oh my god, you'll laugh your ass off.
I like it. I mean, he did some cool stuff back in the day. I mean, seen some of those movies, but yeah, that was the first R-rated movie, Van Damme. That put me onto kickboxing. That made me wanna do that and get better. And I mean, now that's life. I just want to train a lot more. I'm not getting any younger, and just keep training and getting better and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, so
we're rolling up to the hour mark
all
here,
right,
so I'm gonna just thank my sponsors real quick. Dollar Beard Club for keeping this motherfucker good. It's nice, right? Bragg knee braces, thank you for sending me all the knee braces, and I'll be sure to rep your guys' stuff a lot because it saved me probably $15,000. And Vape Escape Red Deer, you guys always pay, so we're good.
That's pretty good, man. You got knee brace sponsors, and
I got knee brace, cold packs, fucking freezer unit thing with you put ice in, it pumps ice cold water into a tube right up into your. It's cool. I'll show it to you before you leave.
Does that work for your head too? If you get punched in the face?
I got all the attachments, bud. You go on my back, on my knee, on my ass.
Nice.
I don't have one for my dick yet, but probably gonna find one of those.
Well, same thing. I'll thank mine. I just want to thank Tammy with Fit Physio for looking after all my physio needs, and Mike at Pure Chiropractic, Pat 1-to-1 Fitness for all the training, and this week Jason stepping up to look after me while Pat's away in Rio.
It's not as good though, right?
Jay's good.
Don't lie.
Is good. He is good.
Okay,
it's different.
It's not as good.
It's different, man. I can't say it's not as good. It's different. It's different. He likes to push weight. I've been pushing some heavier weight this week, which is really throwing me off a little bit because Pat was always.
You get a better gain from that, though. I think. You got to switch it up every once in a while.
Yeah, so it's good. So yeah, Jason standing in for Pat this week. Balanced Nutrition, you're making fun of me a little bit. I ate my lunch here before we did the podcast.
They're gonna have to send me some fucking food.
Lanita keeps me fed twice a day.
Easy on the chicken.
Yeah.
Little more bison.
And oh geez, what am I forgetting here?
We got Milano for men. They're one of your sponsors too. You guys haven't given me a suit yet, but
Adjoy gives me some clothes and makes me dress up in style. I got a t-shirt on right now, but I
didn't. I've had your fight shirt on from your last fight earlier this morning.
Yeah, and then
who was the diamond?
Mark Phillips.
Was a diamond sponsor on there. It was in the shape of a diamond. My kid always points at it. Is that the physio?
I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I'm not sure. And then Mark Phillips, he does some mental coaching and stuff, so that was really good too. And
nice.
For some reason, I'm feeling like I'm forgetting somebody, but I think I'm good. Anyway, yeah. So thanks, guys, and I'll probably see you before that, but we'll be every Tuesday. That's the plan.
Every Tuesday. Today is Wednesday because Luke was a day late.
I screwed up yesterday, so every Tuesday. Yeah. Except, next week will be Wednesday too, because Luke's coming back from Vegas on Tuesday.
You going to fucking Vegas again?
Yeah. Surprise! Yeah.
You better bring me a t-shirt at least this time.
I'm training down there. I'm going to be going to
boxing. There's a fly.
I know. I thought you were going to hit me. I think so. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the podcast today, and we'll see you guys in a week, Wednesday, I guess.
The Spice of Life podcast. Peace.
Spice of Life. Thanks.